successful visit by POTUS, President Donald Trump, who has said later on in the year there is going to be a trade deal. Some of the irritants have been worked out. Mr. Goyal, can you shed some light on that? Any timeline on the trade deal? What we can expect on the trade deal?
I should actually carry a recording machine and just play it out every time I'm asked this question. But as most of you might be aware that trade negotiations are very complex affairs. I've been in this job only 9 months, so it's relatively new to me. But in this 9 months, what I've learned is they never do a trade deal like they were done in the 2009, 10, 11 period. It's not as if I'm just politicizing the issue. It's not as if I'm trying to pass on some problem to the past. But the reality is, this country and our domestic industry and business has been completely let down in the trade deals or the trade agreements that have been entered into by the country over several years. In fact, if it was not for Prime Minister Modi's very decisive leadership and very clear thinking, any other government would have possibly also signed the RCEP agreement and threatened Indian domestic industry to no end. And I can't even tell you the sigh of relief across the country and the kind of congratulatory messages we got in every sector, every stakeholder in the economy. The day 4th of November, India decided not to sign RCEP. It would have literally been the last nail on India's domestic manufacturing capabilities and competitiveness. Similarly, any other negotiations, and actually negotiations with the US are to India's advantage. Because a country which has a trade surplus, we have a trade surplus with, it opens up more opportunity for our exports in a big way. So I think these are complex negotiations. These are not to be discussed in public until the last contours are finalized, because they have a potential to jeopardize fair play and discussions. But I can assure you, and through you, all the people of India, that this government will always engage and negotiate what is for the best interests of the country. Every negotiation will always have a give and take. A negotiation is successful only when it's a win-win on both sides. But we have to ensure that that win-win is truly something that our Indian industry, our Indian people can benefit with. What are the areas where we need engagement in terms of innovation, R&D, better technologies coming into play? And those are the areas we are focusing on. And I can assure you that negotiations are in a very, very friendly, extremely positive approach. It was I who, in fact, first promoted that we should not look at only the short-term thing. We should look at a larger engagement with, certainly with a country like the United States, which is the world's largest economy, which has huge imports from all over the world, and where we have huge potential for many of our products, like textiles, like gem and jewelry, like chemicals, medicine, pharmaceutical. The potential is humongous. And I believe that the discussions that we are having and the huge relationship that Prime Minister Modi and President Trump share with each other, the bonhomie, the trust that both of them share, will hold us in good stead in our negotiations.
I also want to tell you, the Prime Minister, when he was